Matt Smith here reporting for Sports Talk at the stadium moments after Texas took Clemson down and ended the Tigers season 38-24 here in Austin, Texas in the first round of the college football playoff. Clemson did mount a second half comeback, but as Coach Sweeney said in his postgame comments, the hole was just too deep. The Clemson run defense, which has been porous. There have been defensive lapses this season, especially in their biggest games against Georgia, the upset loss to Louisville, of course to South Carolina, and then again tonight, especially in the first half here tonight against Texas. Overall, the Longhorns rushed for 292 yards. It's truly what marked the game. The Tigers were better in the second half. Wes Goodwin said afterward that they fit the run game better in the second half. They utilized some run pressures, but the damage had really already been done. Clemson clawed to back within one touchdown in the fourth quarter, right at the outset of the fourth quarter, and really had this Texas stadium sitting on its hands. But then moments later, Jaden Blue came away with a 77-yard touchdown run, missed tackles from TJ Parker. On that play, he had an opportunity to stop Blue right near the line of scrimmage, but it's the same story with Clemson here in their biggest games this year. The run defense has let them down. Cade Klubnik did not let them down. 336 yards passing from Klubnik in his return to his hometown where he started at Westlake High School. TJ Moore was his favorite target tonight. They found a mismatch on the edge. The freshman TJ Moore, 9 catches, 116 yards, 7 of those catches and more than 100 yards coming in the second half when Clemson was forced to play up-tempo to mount the comeback. I'm sure many of you saw it and followed along with what was happening in this ball game. Clemson opened the game with a great script under Garrett Riley, took a 7-0 lead. Texas answered right back, and then the Longhorns absolutely owned the second quarter. But Clemson slowly and steadily was getting back into it, and it was all about the quick pass game. And look, one of the components to this game that can't be ignored as well, Clemson was truly playing handicapped because Phil Maffa was just unable to really be a factor. 2 carries, 9 yards. So Clemson instead turned to a trio of players that they had not utilized that much during the regular season. Adam Randall moved from the wide receiver position to the running back position last week. He provided a spark, 4 carries, 44 yards for Adam Randall. Jarvis Green caught a touchdown pass. Keith Adams Jr. was part of the running back trio that was playing as well. So they were trying to kind of ham and egg it back there, and it just wasn't a consistent threat. Therefore, Cade Klubnik was under a lot of pressure, but he endured it and was making plays to the outside. Brian Wesco, Jake Briningstool, and Antonio Williams all making plays alongside TJ Moore. But in the end, it wasn't enough, and Clemson fell 38-24 here at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. So Texas moves on. They'll be in the Peach Bowl against Arizona State as part of the round of 8. Clemson, meanwhile, they've got some questions to answer. Dabo Sweeney, in his post-game comments, did not want to talk about staff changes. He insisted this was a successful season, as he put it, good enough to win a championship, the ACC championship, just not good enough to compete for a national championship this year. Clemson losing some really good top-line players, but there's plenty of reasons to be excited about a lot of the young talent they have returning to the roster, especially offensively. Look at what they've got on the outside with Wesco and Moore and Antonio Williams, and then Cade Klubnik pulling the trigger on all of that. A few places they've got to get better. I think we can all agree that Clemson has got to get better along the offensive line. Just overall, Matt Luke has started to work on that. And even though there are some very talented players along this defensive line, and we're a part of that front seven this year, for some reason, Clemson just was not a good defensive team against the run. That has to get fixed, because if Clemson wants to compete in the heavyweight division, it is games just like this. They were good enough offensively tonight, over 400 yards of offense in this ballgame. Defensively, they just weren't good enough, especially in the first half, and they fell behind, and it just changed the complexion of this game, forcing Clemson's hands. So we'll see what Dabo Sweeney opts to do. Are there staff changes coming to the defense? I'm sure that's going to be a topic of discussion on shows just like Sports Talk, which will be airing statewide And I'll be joining the crew this Monday, Phil and Chris, and we'll talk about the end of Clemson's season. How successful was it? Again, Dabo Swinney insists it was a very successful season, a championship season, but an ACC championship season, not competing at the highest level, that next level up, the heavyweight division, where Texas and Ohio State and Georgia are right now. All right, so that's it from here in Austin. Be sure to check everything out that we've done at sportstalksc.com. Follow along on Twitter at Sports Talk Post, and tune into Sports Talk Monday through Friday, 6:05 to 8 p.m., where Phil and Chris will be breaking it down, taking your phone calls, and chopping it up about what happens next to this Clemson Tigers program.